Coming at you here is June 4th. I had yesterday off, so working today. Hard to get cut up a little bit somewhere. Here's my battle wounds. I'll get plenty more of them, but what I wanted to show you today was a water tank that was getting kind of skanky. Yeah, a lot of brush and trees, and a lot of it fell in here. Last year I was tipsy-turvy about changing it out, and this year I just weeded around it, so a lot of that's just from just now. But I'm going to clean it up, shovel any of the crap out of the bottom, put a little fresh dirt in the bottom, and then I'll go get the water tank and bring it back up here, fill it back up. I just got this little Irisron pump, hooks up to your battery there on the Kubota. I just leave it running so I don't run my battery down. You can just pump it right out on the ground, but I just figured I'd pump it over here for some reason. Thought maybe it'd run down toward my bean field. Give it a little water. We got some rain coming in the forecast here in a couple of more days. I bush hogged a bunch of this up here. Cut a bunch of them tree limbs back. Man, and just having a property in a few years, this tree was, you know, not that big, and it was on the ground. I mean, I had to cut limbs back. Stuff really grew before you know it. Anyway, I'm gonna continue working on this tank. I'll take a look at my other ones, get some fresh water in there, and then I'll make a trip into town and get me some goldfish, because I don't know if there's any in here or not. I haven't seen one yet. There might be in there when I get down to the bottom. I'll have to keep them alive if they are. Anyway, the whitetail hunter, we're gonna back out of here and keep working. Good luck. Whitetail hunter coming at you here on May 5th. I'll just back up here, continuing with my water tanks. I didn't show you yesterday, but when I got down to pumping the last bit of water out of that last tank and shoveling the leaf and debris and mud out of there, it's getting pretty deep. I want some dirt down there, but not that much. The bottom was full of tadpoles, so I didn't pump it all the way dry. But I filled it back up with water today. But here's a little trick on your fencing. If you got a dry spell coming in like we've been having, your ground's getting all cracked up. Now I doubt pretty much this ground rod, believe it or not, is 8 feet deep. And I actually brought the bigger container of water up yesterday to set on this ground rod, but I used it to pour back in my tank because I didn't think those tadpoles had enough water after I pumped some out. But I set this bottle of water here yesterday and poked a small hole in it. Let's see if you can see or not. But see, it's just damp. I mean, a little teeny hole, it just drips out once in a while. But if you squeeze it, it comes out pretty good. But if you just poke a small hole where it's dripping by that ground rod, that'll help your ground make a good connection, and when that happens, your fence works a lot better. It's hard enough, you know, if you don't have some vegetation around there to get a hold of a deer or whatever to give it a ground, and teach them the boundaries here until we get ready to open this food plot up and tell them it's time to eat. But they go through a little bit of a learning curve. Some of them remember from the year before, and other ones don't. And once in a while you get one that's smart enough to know how to get in, whether you got it fenced off or not, because of course the deer could jump this fence easier, you know, than anything. But it creates a three-dimensional effect, and it's just kind of spooks them off a little bit. But we'll get one once in a while. If I get one interacting with it, I'll throw it up on my video. But so far they've been staying about 10 feet away from me, so that's good. I had a little bucket in here a couple times, and I rearranged my fence a little bit. But that's a little trick on your ground rod. I'm gonna poke a small hole in that gallon jug, and heck, it probably last a week dripping there real slow, just to help me out a little bit, because we just haven't got that much rain. We got about 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches over a 2-week period, you know, a while back, and then we got 1 inch over one night, and that's about it for the whole spring. I mean, we didn't even have a morel mushroom season. It's been pretty tough. So we got 4 days of rain in the forecast in a couple of days, but being in the forecast and being on the ground is two different things. So what to see. Anyway, this is the whitetail hunter, and we're gonna keep at these water tanks and check and see if I need to work on any other ones. We'll talk at you later. How you doing? We're still working on the water tanks. I think I only got 2 that really need changing. The other one was put in later. It's not too that old. And the very first one I put in is in a real low area, so when it rains, it usually gets all washed out anyway, so it gets new water put in it. But I came to this one, it didn't look severely bad, but it was a lot of mosquito larvae growing in it. A lot of mosquitoes around, and because of COVID, I didn't get no goldfish this year, and I haven't pumped it all the way down, but I hadn't seen any goldfish in this one, but that don't mean there's not any. Usually if you got mosquitoes, it's a sign that your goldfish ain't in there. So, but those were a couple, 2 or 3 years back I put them in here. So I don't know, we're gonna pump this all the way down and shovel the muck out of the bottom. I think, you know, when you get in an area with a lot of trees and it gets full of leaves and stuff, and I think that puts a lot of acidic stuff in your water from the leaves. You know, I just don't think you could leave them forever without changing them out. And this one has been in at least 2 years, if not 3. So, like I said, with the fish in there, it stays pretty crystal clean. But we had a little hiccup with the COVID, so we'll get back on track. The other one, the frogs will probably keep clean, but I'll put a couple goldfish in there anyway. But there was tadpoles in the bottom and a frog in there when I went to fill it up today. You can hear frogs all over in the woods in there too, so I imagine they'll take care of the mosquito larvae. Anyway, for now, we're going to finish pumping this out. Then we're going to go get a load of water and haul back in here with the Kubota. I think got some pretty decent pressure on that little pump. Great for pumping out the water tanks. I think that's about a 130-gallon tank there in the back of the Kubota. She weights her down pretty good coming up that crossing. Anyway, that's it for now, and we're going to start hauling some water here in a bit later. All right, I believe we're winning. Kind of a nasty job, but that sucker was overdue. It was a quarter of the way full of leaves. It had a lot of mosquito larvae in it. I got my goldfish all ready to pick up. I'll pick them up Monday maybe, or tomorrow, I don't know. Nice to have you a water tank. The Kubota's got a dump box on it, so I can lift it up and angle it down in there if I need to, but this is, have plenty of water for this. That's all the crap I pulled out of there. A lot more than I expected. Got a little earth down the bottom there still, so that's good. I'll let this settle for a couple days, and I'll go around and put goldfish in all of them. We'll have some nice clean drinking for the rest of. And man, you don't even know how good these water tanks are doing until the rut. Some deer, there's a buck that I never see in none of my food plots or had on camera before, but he comes in and hits the water tank during the rut. They get overheated, they're hot, they're running, and I got him on the water tank picture multiple times, but never seen him anywhere else on my property. He's smart enough, he don't even go out in the food plot, so he's a nice one too. But the water tanks, and that tank is just over the hill from the creek. The creek is just 40 yards, 30 yards away, and then down in the ditch. But like I said, they'd rather drink water up here. It's got a little dirt in it. Drink that fast moving water. So they get in them tanks, man. I really like them, and during the rut, you'll really appreciate it. You get your camera on one. All right, I'm gonna keep working at it later. All right, there you go. She's all ready. I put that stick in that last water tank, and the old frog crawled up the stick and out, and all the tadpoles are swimming around. No tadpoles in this one, but a lot of mosquitoes. So we got that cleaned out, and that water will settle down, and I'll slap some fish in there. All right, I'll put the rest of this in one of my other tanks and just top it off.